This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
After a bye week, the Flames look to extend their win streak to 5 this weekend when 4-2 Liberty hosts 2-4 Maine for homecoming at Williams Stadium. A win would give Liberty its first 5-2 start since 2010. Despite the win streak, the Flames believe they have a lot to improve on this week.
Since the Buffalo game, I think we've had chances to put every game away offensively without having to sweat it out in the fourth quarter by having to complete a 4-minute drive that runs the clock out in the last two, and that's disappointing that we haven't.
We used the bye week to actually work on plays that we've been struggling with. Try to get those down to the tee, and then our warp speed stuff, trying to play as fast as possible. We worked on that a lot.
Liberty's rushing attack has shown improvement in the last 3 games, tripling its yard production from the first 3 games and putting up 7 touchdowns. This week, Flames running back Joshua Mack has a chance to add to those numbers against his former teammates. Mack transferred from Maine to Liberty last year for a chance to play at the FBS level.
I've been looking forward to this one since I seen the schedule last season when I got here. I'm always rooting for him. There's no bad blood between me or any of the players or the coaches there, so I'm always rooting for them to go far even this year.
While Max still roots for Maine, this week he's locked in on trying to help his teammates gain any advantage they can.
I've been talking to Tom a lot lately, the center, because they have a good D-tackle nose guard, my dog Chuck, coming in number 5, and I was just trying to tell him some keys that will help him be successful for us in the run game on Saturday. So
that's a good idea. I was just watching film, so I would just probably ask him from a defensive line standpoint, how do they like to line up?
Maine ran the ball more last week in its 24-17 loss to Richmond. The Black Bears piled up a season-best 208 yards on the ground, but that was partly due to losing starting quarterback Chris Ferguson to a sprained foot. Ferguson has missed most of practice this week for Maine. Backup Joe Fagiano would start this week if Ferguson can't go.
I think we prepare as if we're playing 14, because obviously he's been the man, but obviously we'll adjust accordingly during the game.
Maine is expecting to get wide receiver Ernest Edwards back this week. Edwards is Maine's top receiver and kick returner, but didn't play last week after suffering a broken nose.
Yeah, he's really good, and they do a good job moving him around too. So that's the one thing that's unique. He'll be the number 3 in trips. He'll be the number 1. He'll be the X. They're going to move him all over to get matchups they like, and he's a really good player. So we'll definitely have our hands full with him.
Meanwhile, Liberty scored just a combined 37 points in its last 2 games. The Flames have relied heavily on the passing attack this year. Nearly 67% of Liberty's offense has come through the air. Maine's passing defense at the FCS level is 13th in the nation, allowing just 175 yards per game. Even with the Flames' recent success, Maine has weapons and knows how to win. Complacency is something that Coach Freeze and his team say they're trying to avoid.
I don't like to use worry because I think that is against my faith, and I don't think but is my guard up of every distraction that possibly could come to a football team. I've done this too long I'd be foolish not to think that we could have some type of distractions.
It could either probably make or break the season. If we lose, it's going to be a tough loss for our team, and we'll have to build from it. But we plan on winning, and we plan on coming out with the same energy we had these last 4 games.
Saturday's homecoming game kicks off inside Williams Stadium at 6 p.m. Flames Fan Fest presented by Food Lion opens at 3:30 in the indoor practice facility, and the homecoming parade begins at 2:30. Live television coverage of Saturday's game is on ESPN+, and pregame radio coverage from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network begins at 4:30 on flagship station 88.3 FM The Journey in Lynchburg. For the Liberty Flames Sports Network, I'm Nick Pierce.